All right. Hi, everyone. Today's the second installment of Christmas in July. Today, we're going to be making some tags using some dies in your stash. So today is going to be a complete stash dive. I'm going to have some examples of what I've made, but you absolutely can grab anything from your stash and it will work. We're going to make a Santa Claus tag, which is going to be colored. We're going to have a Christmas tree. We're going to have a layered star. And this one that has an inset that says Merry and Bright. And they're all from different companies, and it'll be fun. They'll be really easy. Once you see how this is done, you'll be able to look through your stuff, and I guarantee you have many things you can do to do this with. So what we're going to do first, if you've never used one of your dies to make a card, that's what we're going to have to do first. So let me get this camera switched around, my glasses on, and what we're going to start with is we're going to start off with an 8.5 by 11 piece paper. That's a little close. Let's back that up a little bit. And we're going to fold it in half. All right, so we're going to fold it in half. So then we're going to take the dies. I'll pull all this in here. So the star one is a 3-set die that I think was Crafter's Companion like maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Then, let's see. Christmas tree was Crafter's Companion. And this is a 2-piece die that has the outline and then the tinsel. And then this one is from Diamond Press. And this was meant to be a topper on a card. And this set was called Holiday. And that was from a couple years ago. And the last one that we're going to stamp is Crafter's Companion Vintage Christmas set that was a couple years ago. And it's just a Santa Claus. I'm sure you have a Santa Claus in your set that will work just as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the biggest die and we're going to hang it off the paper about that much. And depending on the shape of your die, you're going to hang it a little bit more. We're going to tape it down on the fold. So the fold's up here, and we're going to tape these down. Because you want enough up at the top that the card has enough to it when it folds. It's not going to be too floppy. I'm going to tape this down here too. Now this one, the wording goes up and down. So we need to make sure that this part is straight. So I'm going to hang that much over the top. Now let me get the Santa Claus out. See if he'll fit. He's not going to fit on the paper. That's okay. I did cut one of him out early, so we'll just go ahead and use that one. So you can see you would do the same exact thing. And if I was using the Santa, I would be hanging him here and putting about that much. So maybe 1/4 inch. I don't think you need more than that to hang off the top. So now I'm going to run this through my machine. And I'm using about 100-pound paper. I wouldn't use something heavier than that simply because it may not go through both dies. Because I think it went through the Crafter's Companion one, but it didn't want to go through the Diamond Press one when I used heavier paper the first time. I'm going to run this through the Pro. Let's see if it cut through, because I ran it through without my magnetic shim. So my machine, if I use the magnetic shim, yeah, it cut through. If I use my magnetic shim, I get a lot of warping on my plates, and so I never run it through with my magnetic shim unless I have to. All right, so now we have our die cuts for our card bases. And I just ran all these through all at once just so that that part would all be finished. Garbage. All right. The doodads that poke out of this. But wait till you see how easy these go together. You'll be like, oh, wait, I can do that. Okay. So I'm going to start with the star one. So I'm going to put these up here for now. We're just going to do the star one. So what I did, so this star is in 3 pieces here. So we use the biggest one and we cut out the base, fold it over, which now gives us a little card. So then I took all 3 sizes and cut them out in 3 different shades of yellow. So now all we have to do is assemble our star like you normally would. It's going to go in the middle. This will go on top. Like that. And if you wanted to cut this out of mirror card, you absolutely could. I'm going to probably put some sparkle pen on it. That's what I did with the first one. We have that. So now we have a choice to make. Let me bring in the originals I did. So this one, I did this one first, and I simply tied a knot in the jute and then ran it up the top. And that was fine. It didn't make this bumpy or anything like that. And that's fine. This one, I put the jute in between here. Bring it up here. In between. And it did make it a little bumpy. So I don't know if I would do that again. This one I used flat ribbon underneath, and that was perfectly fine. And ribbon was on this one too. So I think I'm going to use ribbon on these. And that way I won't have to worry. I did like the rustic look of this with the jute, but it was just left it a little bit too bumpy. So I think I'm just going to use ribbon this time. We have our ribbon. This is just ribbon I got at Michael's or Joann's. I think I bought it on sale last year after Christmas. The only thing to keep in mind is that you want your string, your tie, to be bigger than the length of your tag, because you want to be able to slide it on there when you attach it to a gift. So I'm going to use some regular white glue, some just tacky glue. I'm going to take the ends here, put it in the glue, let that grab hold for a moment. And I'll put some more glue all the way around. Put some on top. Make sure that stays up there. And then simply put this on top. And there it is. Now this should be long enough that you can slide this under here to attach it to your present. And you can write your little tag and message in there. Little to and from. It is that simple. So there is one done. So now let's move on to the Christmas tree. So we have the same thing that we did in the beginning. We cut out the tree. And if you wanted to do this in color, if you have like a gel pen, a gold pen, anything that will show up on the color paper, you don't have to do it in white, but I just did it in white so it would be easy to see what I was doing. So we have the white. Again, we're going to cut a ribbon. This time I think I'll use, you know what, I'm going to use red again since I have red trim. Here again, I'm just going to measure it up against the length. So there's one length, there's two length, a little extra because I know I'm going to have to tie a knot in it. Or not tie a knot in it, but I just want to make sure I can get it over the package because some of this is going to be going here. So we'll tie this here. This goes here. Okay, and this was the die that we used to cut this out. I cut it in green. And this also had some garland, had a nice garland tie on it, die on it. So we cut that out in red. And I have a gold star that was also in the set. And I want to say that was from like 4 years ago, maybe. I don't know, I've had that a long time. All right, so we'll put the glue on that. A little more glue. Trying to hold this so you could see what I'm doing in my hands, not in your way. But really, if you had a large enough Christmas stocking, that would be really cute. There we go. This one is not symmetrical. Make sure I'm putting it on correctly. That glue's on there. Now, when you flip it over, it does hang over the top. You know, and that's the way all of them are going to be. All right, so we have that. So now let's put, I'm going to use this glue because this glue takes a moment to set up. This is the Collel glue. And this piece is bends a little bit. So I want to make sure I get it in the right place before the glue sets. It is a little bendy. So let's see here. This piece starts up here. That goes there. Yeah, see this piece. I always have to kind of maneuver it into place a little bit. This goes over here. And that goes there. All right. Star will go at the top. And that I would just make sure it's down enough to where that top point matches up with the top of the tree, just to give it a little stability. Let me close this up. All right, let's see. Now we need some gems. And let's see, the first one, I put blue ones on. So I think this time maybe I'll put a couple different colors on. And let's see, I put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I put 9, and that seemed like a good number. So put one there, one here, one here. There we go. Let's see. What do we have? We have 2 shades of blue. You know, sometimes this thing works and sometimes it doesn't. I'm just going to put one on each of these. Oh, I said I was going to do multicolors. What didn't I? Move that up here. And we'll move this one over here. I'll grab, let's see what color else. Put a couple light blue ones on here. And let's see. Another dark one. Right here. One here. And there. And that is done. Yeah, these will go so quick if you cut them out all together like that. You know, just fill up your 8.5 by 11 piece of paper with as many as will fit and just cut them all out. Because when I cut out all the pieces, I did all that on one pass. So 2 passes through your machine and you're going to have everything cut out. All right, so there is 2 tags. And then once that's dry, you would just lay that flat. You can put a to and from or just handwrite it in there. And there you go. There's 2. All right, the next one, we're going to do this Miriam Bright one. Now this one's a little bit more involved. Make sure this is all cleaned out. Oh wait, I already cut those out. Put that back. Bring in the ones I cut out. So this one, the way this cuts out, because this is the 2 pieces, it either cuts out solid like this, or if you put this in it, it cuts this out. So what I wanted to do, I am going to cut off the berries so they will show underneath. And this just snips away. Like that. There we go. And a little bit there. There we go. And I'll just round that off a little bit. Okay, so we're not going to use these. Just going to trash. So now, this will glue on top of here. And I'm going to paint the berries like I did here. I painted these in red. You can see this is red. I tried with marker first, and it didn't cover it well enough. This is just a Spectranor acrylic paint pen. Any paint pen will work as long as it's red. Doesn't have to be, you can just buy one at Michael's. So I'm just gonna cover these before I glue this down. That will only take a second to dry. Now I'm going to take a green. Let's see, what color green do we want to use? I think this color. And I'm just going to take the some berries. I'm just going to go over the leaves a little bit just to give them a little. I'm just flicking. This is BG 96. It's a kind of a dark color. Just to give it a little bit more. As you can see, I'm not being very particular about this. It's nice because you're not really coloring up against anything. And what's going to, underneath won't show because it's going to be underneath that trim there. So. There we go. That is good. So now this will get glued onto here. This is almost empty. Let me grab something else. And I'm not even really squeezing this. I'm just kind of tapping some glue on here that's on the tip. Just so the letters are all tacked down. Okay. Take this. This will go on here. Oh, actually, let's make sure. Let's glue this on first. At least make sure we've got it right. Make sure we're not putting this on upside down, because that would be very sad. I glued this together, then realized it was an up and a down. All right, so it's going to go this way. And just turn it until it fits into place. You can see that paint pen is already dry. All right. And then this just gets glued onto here. Let's see, slide that over a little bit more. Okay. Now, since this is a big area, I'm just going to use this. Put a little bit on the leaves. And I would just line it up with the cutout. Line up the berry leaves. That's why I like using the Collel glue, because it does give you a moment to let it to slide it into place. Oh, and you know what? I just put this upside down. Oh, I did. And I didn't cut my ribbon. This time I'm going to use this. I guess I'll use red again. Here again, measure it to here twice. And a little more. Make sure you have it long enough. And I'll put some glue on both sides. And this glue dries clear, so it'll be fine. Okay, get this off my hands real quick. That up there a little bit. And there is tag number 3. There we go. 3 tags down, 1 left. All right, let me clear some of this away. All right, so our last tag is the Santa Claus. All right, so let's go back, review. So we cut him out, hanging over the edge. I would say it's maybe 1/4 of an inch, maybe. So he's all cut out, and then you have to cut him out again. This time I cut him out on some Nina paper so I can color it. So that's going to go on top here. So then I need my stamping platform. So this will go on the sticky mat. Stamp out. We'll line this up on here. Let's see. I think that looks good. Yeah, that looks even. Pick that up. Done with that. Close that. My favorite Gina K ink. Push this down. There we go. At the side. Now I'm just going to color him really quick. So I have a gold for his belt buckle. I have 2 grays, 2 reds, and a very light gray. I'm going to use for his beard and for the white trim. His beard comes down here. White trim. There. Let's do his belt. This is C7. I'm going to go in and give it a little bit of shading here. It's going to be a little darker by the belt here. Okay. Now his cuffs are here and here. And his gloves were also white. So his arm. Let's see, he has an arm over here. Under here. I know when I start coloring, I stop talking. And this, you really don't have to even shade that much. And just depending on which Stampin' Die you picked, you might not have a lot of shading to do at all, or even a lot of coloring. I was looking for a snowman. I realized all my snowmen are all stamps or dies. I have nothing that's a stamp and a die. Kind of weird. sure how that happened. Speed this up a little bit. I'm just going to put a little shading where the marks are. All right, this dark color I'm going to put for his button. And the belt buckle will be gold. See, this would all be darker. Definitely just look through your stash and see what you have. I bet you have plenty of things that you can do this with. All right, so here's his collar. So that also have some gray highlighting in it. All right, now his bag is where you have to be careful. This is bag comes down here, comes across here. Then comes down here. Now this is shading put in the bag. I'm going to go over that. It'll be a little darker down here. This one I'm using E35 with the Copics. Yeah, I used to use Spectra Noir, but I have to say I like the feel of the nib on the Copics better. It's the ink comes off a lot easier. I feel like I'm not pushing as hard. A lot of times I feel like I'm barely brushing the paper, and I definitely can do fur and things better with it. It definitely when you do the definitely get a better swishing. Swishing, that's a technical term. There we go. Well, that is still nice and wet. I'll put a little bit more of the darker in here. That's the thing with Copics or any alcohol markers. You need to do all the coloring while it's wet. You don't want to let it get dry. And if it does get dry on you, just go back over it and make it wet again. And then you can go back in and darken things up a little bit if you need to. And this is 2.9. And this is R27. A little more color on here. All right, let's see. What else am I missing? I am missing his face. So skin tones I kind of go back and forth with. This one is E95. I do kind of go back and forth on what color I want to use for skin tones. I kind of always change. I don't think I ever use the same one twice. All right, I think our Santa is just about done. Oh, presents. I don't know if I did presents. All right. Do these real quick. Okay. These are in. See, I'll make this one yellow. Balls yellow. Let's see. That one red. Let's take some speed. Get this colored. That is most definitely green now. Let me grab a green. Oh, let's see here. See if I can fix this. Went a little too fast. There we go. All right. I think he's colored. All right. So now simply we will cut another ribbon. This time I'm going to take green. I used red and all the other. So again, twice the length. A little extra. Cut it off. Now, because you'd rather this be a little long than too short, because then you're not going to be able to attach it to your present. Now we take our glue. Lay that down. A little more glue on top. Line this up. Oh, we didn't do his hat. Let's color that really quick. But yeah, with these Copics, I feel like I'm barely touch the paper and all the ink comes out. I know if you buy the sketch ones, which is these rectangular ones, people have said that you need to take both caps off every once in a while and let them get some air. So I guess once you start using the ink, it gets a little pressure in there and they end up trying to drip out a little bit on you. But if you just take both ends off, that solves that problem. All right. He is colored and done. There we go. All right, so let me clean up my mess here. Get all this out of the way, and let's bring them all in. So we have all four. We have our tree, our Santa, our Miriam Bright, and our star. This is the original star. Bring this one in. So I'm going to grab a sparkle pen. I am just going to put some sparkle pen on here. Maybe put some on Santa's buckle. Oh, I see another spot I missed. What happens when you try to rush? That's part of his arm. All right. Well, there you go. Just use any of your dies and you can make some really cute tags in no time at all. Well, now I have 8 tags all set, ready to go for Christmas. Yeah, so let me switch cameras here for a moment. Take my glasses off so you can actually see my face. So yeah, so look through your stash and grab, any of your solid dies that you have. They can have messages, not have messages, and make some tags out of them. And hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you give it a try. And until next time, stay crafty.